and a warm welcome to World Talks. I'm Jastrzębska. Ukraine is facing intense pressure on multiple fronts, from ongoing Russian drone attacks on the country to a recently revealed major corruption scandal involving drone and defense procurement, raising serious questions about accountability in wartime. To help us make sense of all this, from the battlefield to the political fallout, I'm joined by Rostyslav Khotin, senior editor of the Ukrainian service Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. Good morning, delighted to have you with us.
Hello, good morning.
Let's start with the latest attacks. Russia has been deploying Shahed drones in waves. So can you walk us through the recent drone strikes and how is Ukraine adjusting its defense strategy?
Just over the last 24 hours, 7 Ukrainians have been killed by Russian drones or missiles. 5 of them in Donetsk region, 2 of them in the south, in the Kherson region. Russia is targeting Ukrainian cities and villages in the east, in the south. But of course, people still remember the powerful Russian strike against Kyiv on the 31st of July, when 31 people have been killed by Russian missiles. Now Russia uses not just drones, but also missiles, Iskander missiles, missiles from C-300, C-400 systems and others, and dozens and dozens of drones every night. Mostly these attacks are happening during night time when people are asleep, and not of them are listening to alarms and going to the shelters. That's why so many casualties among Ukrainian civilians from Russian attacks. But also we should remember that Ukraine also raising stakes, and Ukraine targets over the past several days trying to target Russian energy infrastructure, oil depots, oil refineries.
Right.
Just this night, Ukrainians strike Russian big oil depot near Sochi, the port city of Sochi, in the area of other district of Lachin.
Right,
Sochi.
and it's sparked a major fire, right? So I wanted to ask you, what does it mean that Ukraine now is able to strike so deep into the Russian territory?
Yeah, over the last several days, Ukraine also hit Russian oil depots and refineries in Ryazan region, in Voronezh region, in other regions of central Russia. Now in the south of Krasnodar Krai, Krasnodarsky Krai, in the south of Kuban region of Russia. Several things are here to play role. First of all, Ukraine wants to retaliate. Secondly, Ukraine wants to hit oil refineries, oil depots, to remove the supply of oil to the Russian armed forces, Russian war machine. And thirdly, Ukraine also wants to strengthen its negotiation positions, strengthen its stance with Russia when a deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump is approaching, and it's of course the 8th of August, when Trump gave Russia 10-12 days at the end of July to agree to ceasefire, and we'll see what happens next. But Ukraine also wants to show its strength. Ukraine wants to show its teeth, that they're able to strike Russia deeply and to remove energy supplies to Russian war machine on the battlefields.
At the same time, Russia and China have just launched joint military exercises, naval exercises near Vladivostok. What they're trying to show or say, what does it mean?
It's a signal, first of all, not to Ukraine, of course, but to the United States of America. That Russia wants to show that we are not alone, despite your sanctions, despite diplomatic isolation. We are not alone. China is with us. The big China is with us, kind of Secondly, in the region, Russia wants to show that it remains the Eurasian country, not just concentrating on European continent, but also not forgetting the Far East and Pacific region, and Russia indeed is a Eurasian country, lying both in Europe and Asia. And China also, we'll see what China wants to show, but China wants to send signal to America as well that with Russia they are a big, powerful force, and the Chinese. But I don't know whether China is really indeed a strategic partner of Russia. I'm not sure if America will pressurize China powerfully. I don't know whether the Chinese will stick to Russia and will support Russia unconditionally.
All right, so let's zoom in on the internal situation in Ukraine. First of all, I wanted to ask you about the society. I mean, what are some of the psychological, perhaps community responses, right, in those border cities subjected to repeated drone attacks? Do you see any change in the sentiment among inhabitants of these regions?
No, the people of course are tired. That's for sure. They are tired of war. They are tired of constant Russian shelling when Russia uses drones, missiles, and guided bombs against Ukrainian cities. People are tired. Constant, sirens are on constantly. People go to shelters or hiding in metro in big cities, then going out, and again, this such a rhythm of life is extremely difficult, and it's already last almost 3.5 years. So people are indeed tired very much. But whether this kind of unhappiness directed against Ukrainian authorities, as Russia wants to do, I'm not sure. People hate Russian armed forces. People hate Kremlin. People hate President Vladimir Putin of Russia deeply. But still there is a hope that the Americans under President Trump might bring some kind of ceasefire or peace deal. We'll see. But people do have hope that the war might end this year. There is a hope in Ukraine that the war should end this year somehow, and peace, or at least ceasefire, should be achieved. But not at any. But Ukrainians are not ready to pay any price for it. Ukrainians want fair deal, fair peace, fair ceasefire, not any ceasefire, not ceasefire which is not favorable, which doesn't have favorable terms for Ukrainians.
Right, but the political situation in Ukraine has also been quite tense recently. We've just heard of a scandal, right, that unveiled allegations of corruption tied to the procurement of drones and electronic warfare equipment, right? I mean, some officials were said to gain 30% kickback. So what was this scheme? Because this is fairly recent, and who was involved, and what kind of impact will it have?
Apparently, one MP from the ruling Servant of the People party, Zelensky's party, MP Kuznetsov, and one former governor of Luhansk region in the east, who now was a governor, head of the district in the Transcarpathia region, Serhiy Haidai, and one more official, local official. They apparently, according to National Anti-Corruption Bureau, were involved in the scheme, and they received kickbacks from the inflated prices for supplies of drone to Ukrainian armed forces. And it's unbelievable, during wartime, amid this war, Russian aggression, I mean, so many civilian casualties. People are making money out of supplies for the armed forces. Budget is very weak. Ukraine doesn't have enough resources to supply armed forces. People are gathering donations, giving donations to the army, and some officials are trying to make money out of it. unbelievable. President Zelensky is under pressure to clean this all up, and especially after recent protest by Ukrainian youth in Ukraine's biggest cities against corruption. These protests were called so-called, they haven't been given name, cardboard protest, because young people brought these kind of cardboard placards for this protest, demanding anti-corruption fight, demanding clearness of state institutions, demanding independence of National Anti-Corruption Bureau and Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office. So there was a reverse. President Zelensky and his deputies adopted another bill in the parliament which gave returned the independence of National Anti-Corruption Bureau and Special Anti-Corruption Prosecutor Office. So it was kind of significant development that Ukrainian society showed that it's healthy society, that youngsters want to live in a normal, transparent European country, and I just can applaud, the healthy
right, but at the
state
same
of the
time,
Ukrainian
all of
society.
this, back and forth, what kind of impact does it have on public confidence? And I'm asking, both domestically and from abroad, from the West.
First of all, the whole story put a question mark about Ukrainian-European integration, and the European institution and Brussels were quick enough, and Ukrainian friends in the EU, to criticize Zelensky for this reverse in anti-corruption fight in Ukraine. That's one thing. But then after he stepped back, and with his deputies, pro-presidential deputies, there was a welcoming signals from the European institution, because Ukraine is indeed on the path for the EU membership, but Ukraine should be cleaned of corruption, and especially in the time of war, it's unacceptable when people are trying to make money out of supplies, procurement system, or supplies for armed forces. So on one hand, it showed that Zelensky does not understand clearly that the importance of the anti-corruption fight in Ukraine for European integration of Ukraine. On the other hand, Ukrainian society showed that it's healthy, that it can achieve results, that especially younger people, they see Ukraine as a modern, reformed, European, anti-corrupt country, a successful country of the future, the future member of the European Union. So Ukrainian society showed that it's a healthy society, and it's a good thing for Ukraine and Ukraine's future.
And just to sum up, what should we be looking for next when it comes to Ukrainian response, both politically and militarily?
Now, all eyes are on the Trump's deadline, which falls on the 8th of August. What will happen? We don't know. He issued this deadline. He reduced the deadline from 50 days to 12 days. Now it falls on the 8th of August. We'll see what happens next. Whether indeed Steve Witkoff, his special envoy, is apparently now in Russia holding talks. Head of U.S. mission to NATO said that he believed that Witkoff can make breakthrough with Russia on ceasefire. We'll see what happens on the 8th of August. But all eyes in Ukraine and elsewhere are now on this Trump set deadline, which falls on the 8th of August, which is Friday, next Friday.
Rostyslav Khotin, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for sharing your insight. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please leave in for more here on